another one of your books, A Strange Thing Happened on My Way to Hell. Now that's quite a title, Mr. Moore.
Yeah, I think the title is one that's fitting. Look, you know me well.
I know you well.
It's really the strange thing that happened on the way to hell. There's a verse in Jeremiah, the 9th chapter, I think, verse 5, that says, men weary themselves to commit iniquity. You remember the Puritan Thomas Watson said, some men live as if when the devil blows the horn, they rush off to get to hell as fast as they can, afraid that somehow it's going to be full by the time they get there. Well, I certainly was one of those men. You know,
I don't think I would have liked you.
No, you would have hated me.
No.
I was the right guy to hate, not somebody to like. So, you know, I would say I was a petty criminal. The law enforcement thought I was more advanced than that. But listen.
More importantly, I think you were an anti-God atheist that
devout
had no,
atheist.
yeah, devout atheist had no interest in God at all.
Smart aleck.
So thus, a strange thing happened as you rushed.
That's right. The strange thing that's really considered in this book is how does someone who's so opposed to God end up being conquered by God and becoming His? And instead of being a devout atheist, one becomes a staunch defender of the Christian faith.
Yeah,
that's my story.
It's interesting. Someone who was so on the other team.
But I would remind you of something.
Yes.
A strange thing happened on my way to hell is a story that is your story as well. You might have been outwardly polished and somewhat scrubbed, but really you were on your way to hell. There's only two paths in this world. One leads to hell and one leads to heaven. And if you're not on your path to heaven, right,
True.
The other way is broad, and certainly people who are polished and outwardly normal and well-behaved are on their way to hell just as much as somebody like Bill Moore.
Huge reminder, yes.
Who was racing to get there and could find nothing good to do with even a moment of his day. So we all have that same testimony. The question in this book is, how does it come about that a blind man sees? How is it that someone who's wicked is forgiven? Is it really, it's measuring in this book the amount of determination by a man to produce that and the amount of determination by God. And certainly this is going to end up being a reform discussion, meaning, if you know what that word means, meaning that somehow we're going to give God the glory for man's conversion and not man the glory for man's conversion. And it's going to be based mainly on people's lives, as you'll see discussed in here, like why did he choose Moses? The Apostle Paul's a very good example, where he is a staunch enemy and God blinds him, knocks him off his horse, brings him to his senses, and Paul becomes the greatest defender of the faith in history. So it's going to be giving God the glory, and if I haven't accomplished that, I failed.
So the strange thing is,
how does a man convert? I understand how a man performs wickedly.
Yes.
That seems normal. That's natural. This is saying something's supernatural and unnatural about a man's conversion, and it requires God's input to do it.
it's a great book.